One of the biggest game events of the year is coming up. That's right, it's finally time for E3! Woo! Yeah.
You're breathtaking.
Thanks, Keanu. I really appreciate it. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I don't really feel that excited for games these days. I'm still playing through games that were released years ago. This is mostly because I had to go to college, so I just didn't have the time to do it. But now that I graduated and have no job, I'm just playing video games. Anyways, in this video, I wanted to share some of the games that I'm somewhat excited about, or games that I think will be announced at this year's E3. One disclaimer that I wanted to make about this event and game events in general is that people need to realize that E3 and trailers are designed to look good and badass. Otherwise, how the hell are companies gonna convince someone to buy their game? Trailers are meant to capture your attention. I think the biggest culprit of this recently, where hype has just kind of deluded everyone, was Cyberpunk. I didn't play the game, I don't know much about it, but you know, it got a lot of backlash. I need to see some gameplay to see if I really want to play a game, because you know, a game is meant to be played. Along with this, companies these days are really capturing the whole nostalgia craze of how many remakes and remasters are coming out, so we should expect a few of those in this year's E3. Despite me telling you this, it's okay to get hyped about a game, but I personally set my expectations to a certain level, usually low, especially with how much my standard for games have gone up in the past few years. I want to be pleasantly surprised. The last game that I loved and was genuinely excited for, and lived up to my expectations, was Spider-Man PS4. Man, I love that game. So let's get to it. Here's some of the games I'm looking forward to and predict will be at E3 2021. But actually, before that, here are some games that I think need to be mentioned and talked about slightly before I get to the main series. Halo Infinite. This game has been hit with delays and delays, so this has to be the main showcase for the Xbox part of E3. I don't have much interest in it, frankly. The last Xbox console I had was a 360, and I'm not going to buy this Series X either. The last Halo game that I played was 3 and Reach, so I'm very detached from the series, and I just wanted to mention this series. Starfield. We don't know much about this game, but I do think there will be an announcement, especially with how Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion. What? That being said, I didn't even know about this game until I researched what to look forward to, especially because we haven't gotten info about the game since 2018. If you're wondering what it is, it seems to be some kind of sci-fi-ass Skyrim-esque game. I'm not sure. We don't know. Elder Scrolls 6. Following up on that, we don't know much about the new Elder Scrolls game either, so I don't really see much point to talk about it as well. Although I definitely think it will be at least announced or shown a bit at E3. They have to, right? Bethesda. Pokemon Legends Arceus. The next open world game that I won't really be discussing is Pokemon Legends Arceus. I've really lost faith in the Pokemon and what Pokemon's become. I don't outright dislike the new games and the direction that they're taking, but I think at this point I just kind of outgrown the series and the new releases. I wasn't really hyped about Pokemon Legends Arceus when they announced it, especially because the frame rate's terrible, and I'm gonna be honest, it's just pretty much a copy and paste of Pixelmon if you ever played that. Elden Ring. I think people are excited about this one, but I've never really been a big fan of From Software games or Dark Souls in general, so I don't really have much interest in it, despite it being written by George R.R. Martin. But you know, a lot of fans are hyped for it, and I hope they actually do show some more about it. It'd be pretty cool. The new Harry Potter game. Yeah, I've never read a Harry Potter book or watched the movie. Maybe I've seen clips, but overall, I just don't have that much interest, but I do think it'll definitely be shown more, unless it's a Sony exclusive. But I don't think it is, because it was shown at like the Sony conference, but I think people should still look forward to it. A new Rockstar game / announcement could be GTA 6 or Red Dead or a new IP. I haven't played GTA 5 or Red Dead 2. They just didn't look like games I would enjoy. So I think that Rockstar will announce something like GTA 6 or Red Dead or just some kind of new IP. They have to do something, right? They're at the conference. I will not be surprised at all if they announce a remake or a remaster or of some sort from like one of the older games. For example, GTA 3. it being, you know, the 20th anniversary this year, and that game was pretty much the turning point for the whole series. So something like that, I don't expect anything small from this company, honestly. Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2, Final Fantasy 16, or some new Final Fantasy game. Yeah, so as pretty much the Final Fantasy games, at least the remake and 16, are pretty much Sony exclusives. I don't think we're going to be hearing much from Square Enix about this. I could be wrong, right? They could surprise us with news, because I know it's not exclusively Sony. I know they're trying to release PC ports and all that stuff. So maybe their contract's up and maybe they want to say that, hey, we're also part of Xbox now. Could be a thing. I don't know. But I do expect to actually hear some news about some new type of Final Fantasy game, even if it's just a spin-off. But I don't really expect to hear anything about Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 or Final Fantasy 16 at the conference. Back 4 Blood. Yeah, last but not least, I'm not very interested in this game, but I think they will talk about it. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a new Left 4 Dead, which, you know, I played Left 4 Dead 2 in the past and it was fun, but honestly, I just don't see that much interest personally for this game. And also, I don't have a 3080 that can lag while playing this game, if you didn't know that was a thing. So yeah, now that that's over, let's get to it. The first game that I'm somewhat expecting to see and a little hyped for is...
In breaking news, we've received reports of an explosion somewhere north of the city.
Gotham Knights. The game where we get to play as the sidekicks of Batman in Arkham style. When we were able to play as the other Bat family members starting in the Arkham City challenge mode, I remember having so much fun. Having replayed all the Arkham games in the beginning of this year, the games just have this unique character to them that you really can't get for any other game. Playing as the Bat family with the Arkham flair, it just sounds great if I'm being honest. Now wait, I know, it's being developed by Warner Bros. Montreal, studio that did Arkham Origins and not the mainline Arkham games. Although I've never played Arkham Origins, I did hear good things about the game, along with it being like looking fun to play. But if you're still not convinced, did you know that Warner Bros. Montreal actually helped with the Arkham Knight DLC, where you get to play as Batgirl on the Red Hood? If you didn't play those were actually fun mini stories to play as someone other than Batman. Combat was very similar to the Arkham Knight combat, and with obviously individual character style. So I do have some faith in Warner Bros. Montreal this project, even if the gameplay isn't too similar to Arkham games. Game looks good graphically, and there's co-op, something that games these days just kind of lack. I just want to see the combat and more about the game, just anything. Honestly, this game could end up just being the Avengers 2.0, but I do look forward to seeing more of it at E3 if they do end up presenting it. Hopefully it's true. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Keep with this theme, Rocksteady Studios should be showing us more of the Suicide Squad game that they've been working on. Not much has really been shown on it besides the slight trailer, but I do think if Warner Bros. Are going to be at E3, they got to show at least these two games, right? And, you know, something maybe about the Harry Potter game and Mortal Kombat. Could be. I don't know. Maybe they'll surprise us. BioShock 4. So this one's actually kind of one of the, for lack of a better word, huge predictions that I'm gonna do. The next game that I think honestly will make an appearance is BioShock 4. We know that BioShock 4 or something of the sorts is in the works. I wouldn't be surprised if they show something about it, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they did show something about it. I personally am not looking forward to it, but I think it might make an appearance. With it being a different studio making the game and writer Ken Levine not being involved, I just don't see my interest in it. What drew me to BioShock 1 was the different philosophers and Levine wanting to tackle and explore what the world would be like if Ayn Rand's ideas were actually installed somewhere. But it just seems like we might hear about it just because we haven't heard about it in a while, and we know we do know that it is in the works. So I just think that maybe at E3, one of the biggest gaming conventions of the year, we might actually hear about it. At the time of this recording, there are rumors that it might be a PlayStation exclusive, so we may not see it, but keep your eyes open. Borderlands. I think we're going to be hearing something Borderlands related at the conference. I've heard people discuss them making remakes of the two Borderlands games, or just maybe that they add some DLC to Borderlands. Maybe they make a spin-off game just like the pre-sequel. Who knows? Either way, I'll be waiting for some news on the franchise. I think Borderlands 3, they've made the gunplay phenomenal, even if people think that the story and characters are lacking in the most recent installment. It would be awesome to see Borderlands 1 or 2 with updated graphics along with Borderlands 3 gameplay. Something that I would definitely look out for. So in this next section, I will be covering all the Capcom games. So let's get started. I think that the most likely thing that we'll hear about from Capcom is a Resident Evil 4 remake, with RE2 and RE3 remake being only separated and released by a year. I think the RE4 will get a remake, even though I think that the engine that they're using might not suit the game, as you know, Resident Evil 4 is a lot more actiony than the former games. Along with that, Resident Evil Village might get some DLC of some sort, but I definitely think that there will be some Resident Evil news of some sort. Next, I think the Capcom may announce Street Fighter 6. It's hard to believe that Street Fighter 5 actually came out 5 years ago at this point. It wouldn't surprise me if they say something about it, but I think the more likely option would be that they release some kind of season pass or character DLC Street Fighter 5. But honestly, imagine how hype it'd be if they said something about Street Fighter 6. Next, I think that some sort of Mega Man news will be announced, whether it's a new game, remasters or remakes of the older games if they haven't done all of those already. I really like Mega Man's IP, so I like to hear something about it. Along with that, this one is going to be the least likely, but it would be crazy if Capcom made some sort of news regarding Dead Rising. That's all I'm going to say about Capcom. Yeah, I'm not going to go into more detail. I don't want to be too hopeful. Sega. Moving on, we have Sega. First off, Sonic will definitely be mentioned and shown. We got an announcement that there's going to be a new Sonic game coming out because of the 30th anniversary, so expect to see some stuff on that. More importantly, I'm excited for Sega to announce some more Yakuza stuff. If you didn't know, I love the Yakuza franchise. It's become one of my favorite franchises in general, and Like a Dragon, their latest release in the main Yakuza timeline, is my personal favorite Yakuza game. So I really want to see some news about Yakuza 8 along with some more gameplay of Yakuza Lost Judgment. Man could hope, honestly. The most likely option is that they're just going to show stuff for Yakuza Lost Judgment, but if they make some sort of announcement for Yakuza 8, I would not be disappointed at all. I will be very happy, actually. Another announcement that Sega could possibly make is something by Atlus, and if you don't know what Atlus is, they're basically the company who made Persona. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we hear something like that. I don't know if we are, but a man can be hopeful. So, for the last bunch of games, it's the Nintendo part. I think everyone's looking forward to the Nintendo part of the conference. We've had some pretty underwhelming directs this year, so it would be a major shame if they didn't have anything huge planned for this. Especially because if they didn't, everyone would be very disappointed. And Nintendo at E3 is listed as the pinnacle. So, I would personally be disappointed if we didn't hear any major announcements of any sort. So, what am I predicting and looking forward to? Metroid Prime 4. So, with it being Metroid's 35th anniversary, I'm expecting some news on Metroid Prime 4. I think everyone is. I think everyone's expecting that and some potential remasters of older games. I really wouldn't put it past Nintendo to milk it, to be honest. They have to be making all these big announcements at E3. Like, there's no way they don't. Like, when else are they gonna do it? I'm gonna be honest. A potential Mario Kart game. Another game that might make an appearance, although unlikely, is the next Mario Kart game. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is just a Wii U port with some extra stuff, so there hasn't really been a Switch Mario Kart game made yet. It doesn't look like they're going to be adding more content to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe either, so honestly, it's a possibility, but I don't think they will with how amazing Mario Kart Live Home Circuit is. Woo! Oh yeah! Xenoblade 3 or X Remaster. Next game that I don't think we'll get news for, but I really want to hear something about is something Xenoblade related. Whether it's Xenoblade 3, which I don't think is the likely option, but the more likely option is that there's going to be a remaster of Xenoblade X from the Wii U. Here's hoping. I really hope. Here's hoping. Splatoon 3. Next game on the list that I think we'll see some more info on, even if it's small, is Splatoon 3. I just want to see some gameplay. I love the style of Splatoon, and I think that with Nintendo being the pinnacle of E3, we should really hear some more news about Splatoon 3. We already have an announcement. We know it's coming out. Just seeing some gameplay would be nice. Mario Odyssey 2 or some other Mario game announcement or a Smash reveal. Another possible game that might make an appearance is a Mario Odyssey sequel or some sort of Mario mainline game. Probably not going to happen, especially because the Mario anniversary was last year and we didn't hear anything like this from then. So if we're not going to do it during the anniversary, then it's probably not going to make it to E3. But honestly, with Nintendo being the pinnacle of E3, I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do something. Along with that, there's probably going to be a Smash character reveal of some sort. I don't know. I'm not going to predict who's going to be the next Smash character, but I think that we're going to hear something about it. So the last two things that I think we have to hear about and are going to make an appearance at the convention are the new Switch Pro, or whatever they're going to call it, the 4K Pro, and Breath of the Wild 2. They have to do something for Zelda, the Zelda 35th anniversary, right? I think along with the Metroid stuff, they're going to be blasting us with Zelda content, remasters, remakes, and most importantly, Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2, along with the next Yakuza game and Spider-Man PS5, are the only games that I'm genuinely looking forward to. I won't be upset if they say they're going to release Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever they call it in 2023 or 2024. As long as it's a quality game that I can look forward to and they give us at least some sort of update on the game. This is going to be the main event. It has to be. Everyone's looking forward to it. Otherwise, I really don't know what's going to happen at E3. If they don't show this, then honestly, what are they going to show? Nintendo, please. Now that I finished talking about all the games at the time of the recording, there are going to be leaks and rumors that go on before E3 happens, and I'll add them potentially depending on how long this video takes me to make, considering I'm making it 2 weeks before the event. Yeah, so some of the leaks or rumors at the time of editing this video are a My Hero Fighters game by Arc, Marvel XCOM, Borderlands Tiny Tina spin-off, Battlefield 2042, Final Fantasy Origin, a Guardians Galaxy game, and the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. To wrap things up, I want to end this video by telling everyone that it's okay to be hyped for games to be coming out. If anything, embrace the hype. We didn't really have an E3 last year, so if you want to go crazy, go crazy. Of course, I think that we all should be realistic about things, but if you see something that really blows your mind, then by all means, go stupid about it. I think hyper games are actually dying with all these underwhelming releases, along with video games becoming more and more about, microtransactions, or not to be left disappointed in non-complete games and selfish business practices. Despite that, I'm sure there's going to be a game or two that we can all be somewhat excited for, even if it's just one. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and as always, peace out.